welcome back. This is Dr. Schuessler again, and I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk to you about the syllabus and about the course schedule for this semester. Really just kind of lay out some of the things that we might talk about on the very first day of class. The goal is really kind of establish some of the expectations for the course. So again, when you log into your Blackboard, into the Blackboard system, you should see a screen that looks similar to this right here. It's going to look a little bit different depending on the courses that you're registered for. But hopefully I've tried to rename these courses, and hopefully it's a little bit more intuitive for this course, BCIS 5378. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and jump on in there. Once the videos are done, they're both going to be posted here. This was the Blackboard introduction, which you should have already looked at this point. And then this is the second one over the syllabus and over the schedule. And once those are done, I'll make that available to you, and I will remove this course under construction note so that you're aware at that point that the course is up and live and ready to go. So to access the syllabus and the schedule, you'll click over here right there, and that will open them up. These are Google documents that are going to open up into a new window, and then you can pretty much access them from anywhere, however you want to do that. So pardon me, the syllabus is right here. If I tweet things out that are specific to this class, sometimes I'll use the hashtag BCIS 5378. This is the spring 2017 semester, and it's an online class, so there is no physical location, there is no specific time that the class meets or anything like that. Some of my name and all that kind of stuff is right here. I'm actually an associate professor right now, so let's go ahead and correct that while we're here. And as far as email, I want you to send any course-related emails to me actually through Blackboard, through the messaging link in Blackboard. If it's not course-related, you can certainly send it to me to my regular email address, H.Schuessler@tarleton.edu. If it's recommendations, things like that. But if it's course-related, send it to me within the course. My contact information is right there. You can see my office hours are really pretty good, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Messaging me is certainly the best way to get a hold of me. If you want to stop by and see me in my office, you probably should message me first. Even though I have a lot of hours relative to most faculty, I'm in and out of meetings all the time. I'm off at conferences and things like that. If we need to meet virtually, we can meet in a Zoom session right there. Same kind of thing. Let's set up a schedule, set up an appointment, a virtual appointment, and we can video chat that way. The textbook is next. That's what the cover of it looks like, the name of it, all that kind of stuff. It's available either online, that you can probably get a little bit cheaper, or you can get it directly from the bookstore if you wait to the last second. Test Out is another product that we use. It's required for this course. It's an online environment that has some lessons built into it, also has some simulations built into it, and that's where your homework grade comes from, is from little short questions that they have, multiple choice questions that they have, as well as some of the simulations that they have. And I get really good feedback from students about Test Out. So we've definitely integrated it into the course. The cost is pretty significant when you use that discount code. It's a pretty significant discount. It runs $495 normally, but with that discount code that you saw in the previous video, or that you can find under the homework section in Blackboard, it drops that price down to, I believe it's $102, and that is required. We also have, I also make extensive use of Google Drive and Google Docs. So if you have a Google account, great, you'll follow those instructions for homework 0. Otherwise, you need to create a Google account and follow those instructions as well. The next thing that's required is an account with Examity. The final exam is proctored through Examity, which is an online proctoring service, and they have their own system requirements. It includes things like a 3 meg download speed, a webcam, a microphone, things like that. So you can click on that for some more information, and there's some more information a little bit later in the syllabus, and there'll be more information coming as we get closer to the end of the semester and the final exam. Lastly, there's an online text that I make available to you. It's not complete. It's something that I've been working on myself. It's not directly related to this class, but it is sort of somewhat related to this class. So there's nothing in there that's going to hurt you. It's can't do anything but help, but it is made available to you. Our program objectives for the MSIS program. So once you graduate with your master's degree, these are some of the things that we're really that's what you're going to be assessed on. This is what we're striving to make sure that you know when you leave here. Course description, and then course goals, course outcomes, so knowledge outcomes, skills outcomes, etc. for this specific course. Prerequisites, I'm not going to look up prerequisites. It's up to you. You're certainly, I definitely feel like you're going to have more success if you've already had 5376. But if you don't, you can certainly do well in this class. I suspect you're just going to have to work a little bit harder than those who have had 5376 already. I also like to include information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics and tell you a little bit about what network and computer systems administrators do. And so I talked to you a little bit there, and all this is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, how much they make on their median annual wage as of May 2015, and the growth of that sector. And that's about average, about as fast as average for all occupations. So it's not a bad time to be in this field. So certain areas of information systems are growing faster, but this is a good time to be in information systems. Related to that is Miss Catherine Copeland. She is our career development coordinator. And if you're looking to work on your resume, you're looking for job fairs, all those kinds of things, she's the go-to person on that. So certainly reach out to her and see how she can help you. Something else about this field in general, you have to definitely be very self-motivated and work on staying up to date, the latest skills and all those kinds of things. And having free access to software is a big part of that. So part of Microsoft's Imagine program is free software to most of their titles, not everything. Microsoft Office, for example, is not available, but they have a lot of their titles that are available. So take advantage of that. Course deliverables and exams, this is the stuff that students are usually the most interested in. We have assessments, we have homework, and then we have exams. I drop your 3 lowest quizzes, so don't stress out if you do poorly on 1 or 2. I don't reset quizzes, I don't extend the deadlines, I don't take late work or anything like that. That's part of the reason that I drop your lowest 3 quiz scores. Each quiz is limited to 10 minutes. It's an exercise in knowing the answers or reading ahead of time, not in looking up the answers. So typically students really hate these quizzes. I get a lot of feedback about that, how much they dislike them. At the same time, by the end of the semester, after I've dropped those lowest 3 quiz scores, usually students' averages on these are pretty good. So I've been pleased with the results. I definitely feel like it helps significantly, so I keep it that way. There's also a pretest and posttest. Don't stress about those. Do the best that you can. If you complete them, you get 5 points. So it doesn't matter how well you do or how poorly you do. Complete them and you get 5 points. I want you to do the best that you can because that way it gives me an accurate reading, but don't stress about it. The last question on each of those are links to surveys. The first one is a link to a survey that asks you about your personality and your learning style, and the second one is about a course assessment to give me feedback about what I can do better. Homework is in Test Out, and so you can read through that and get registered in Test Out, and basically it's every Test Out assignment or every Test Out section is scored, and I convert it to a 20-point scale. So since it's already posted out there in Test Out, you have the opportunity to take the quizzes within Test Out and the labs within Test Out as many times as you want before the due date and time. So you have the opportunity to maximize your score. There's no reason that every student shouldn't get 20 points on every single homework assignment because of that, or at least all the ones that are in Test Out. So take advantage of that opportunity. But again, I don't take late work, so keep that in mind. As far as exams, there's a total of 3 exams. There are 2 practice exams. They're basically practice certification exams, one specifically over Microsoft's exam and one of them specifically over the Server Pro exam. But they're both practice exams, and you need to do both of those. We'll talk about the points here in just a little bit. And then there's the final exam itself. And again, the final exam is administered through Examity. It's worth a total of 400 points. To prepare for Examity, you'll have to check your system requirements. The easiest thing is to click on this right here. It'll open up a new window which will check your webcam, it'll check your download speed, all of those kinds of things. As far as the point system, you can see it's all right here. This, if you add all the assessments up right here, it actually should total 470, I believe is the total. But remember, I dropped your lowest 3 quiz scores, so take 60 off that. That gets you your 410. Your homework assignments are right there. Your 2 practice exams are worth a total of 200, so 100 each. And then the final exam is worth 400. Again, that final exam is actually the Server Pro certification exam. So you have the opportunity to not only get your points for the final exam, but if you pass their requirements, you also obtain the Server Pro certification. Assignments are due on Sunday evenings for the most part. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the schedule here in a second. Assignments are due on Sunday evenings for the most part. I attempt to assess and post grades the following Monday, so the very next day. Now, every now and then there's something that holds me back, but for the most part I try to get grades turned around very quickly and get them back to you while things are still fresh in your mind. So if you go a couple of weeks and you're seeing a 0 for a grade, definitely contact me. We need to, fix whatever it is to be fixed so that you don't keep taking 0s. Late assignments, I don't take them, so save us both some time. Don't even worry about trying to submit them. I don't take late assignments. Student expectations, you're all graduate students at this point, and if you're in this class, it's not likely that this is your first semester, but everybody should know what it takes to be successful. Check Blackboard regularly. I expect at least once per day. Turn in assignments on time, make sure you read and understand the syllabus and the schedule, all those kinds of things. So it's not rocket surgery. Academic dishonesty, don't cheat, it's not worth it. It's just not. Don't do it. Disability accommodations, if you have some sort of disability, contact the students with disability, the Center for Access and Academic Testing. They can assess your disability. They can issue an accommodation letter, and then you present that accommodation letter to me or whatever faculty that you're trying to obtain the accommodation for. I can't make those accommodations without that letter. I'm not qualified to do that, so don't ask. Go get that letter and then present it to me. The vast majority of the time, I'm going to do whatever they recommend. If it's extended time or whatever it happens to be. Occasionally there's something that's a little bit more difficult to implement, but we got to have that letter before we can do anything else. The Writing Center, this course doesn't really have much in the way of writing per se, but this may apply to other courses that you're taking. Take advantage of that. You may have to turn in complete something, a writing assignment a little bit early, so you can take advantage of this resource, but it is a resource that's provided. So take advantage of it, especially if you're not a native speaker. And then lastly, well, not almost lastly, on the syllabus, there's a service day requirement. Each spring we have a day that essentially all classes are canceled, and in place of that, you perform some sort of service during those days. And so this is provided here in the syllabus. There'll be more information about that comes out via to your Tarleton Go account later on in the semester. Similar to what we talked about in the other video over the Blackboard shell, your learning style and personality are both posted right there, as well as the student evaluations. It's the same exact content. They come from the same database, so the content is exactly the same there. So that is it on the syllabus. The schedule is right here. So basically it's broken down into 4 columns: the week, the dates, the topic, and the assignments. Everything is pretty much due at 9:30 on Sunday, in this case, the first week, January 22nd, the second week, January 29th, etc., at 9:30. So for example, the very first week, hopefully you've watched both the videos, and so we've covered that, and then hopefully you've registered with Test Out, and you can start taking that. You can look through the introduction section. The introduction section is not scored in Test Out. It's just a way that kind of shows you how Test Out works, what the labs look like, all those kinds of things. But we do actually have some things that are due the very first week. That very first Sunday, there are things that are already due. There's that assessment pretest. It's worth 5 points. Again, don't stress about it. Simply complete it. You're going to get those 5 points. There's also homework 0, and you can refer to the other video for a little bit more detail about that, but it's worth 20 points. It's also due that very first week. And then assessment 0 over the syllabus quiz is also worth 20 points. So you don't actually need your textbook or anything like that very first week, but there are things that are due. Get your textbook though pretty quickly, because the second week we start having actual content due pretty quickly. So we're going to cover lessons 15 and lesson 16 out of the text. We're going to have a quiz over each one, and then the very first section in Test Out is also due. And you can see how it continues to progress throughout the semester. Spring break is the 9th week of class, so 313 through 319 is spring break. Then towards the end of the semester, we finish all of our stuff. I have you take the first practice exam, and I have you take the Microsoft practice exam first because it's not directly related to our final exam. It's good content, it will help you prepare, but it looks and feels a little bit different than the Server Pro exam, which is more task oriented. You have more labs in it basically. So then following that, you've got the Server Pro practice exam, and that's presented right before your final exam because I want you to be comfortable with those labs and do well on those labs. And then we've got that final post test, and then the exam itself. Again, that needs to be scheduled ahead of time through Examity. It can be scheduled for any time between these dates, from 6:30 on May the 4th, 6:30 p.m., which is when final exams open, through Sunday, May the 7th at 9:30 p.m. So it has to be scheduled sometime in that window, and you'll schedule that through Examity and access it that way. So that is it as far as the course schedule. Again, I'll post that video right here in just a little bit after I get it uploaded to YouTube, and then I'll make this whole section available to you, and I will remove the course under construction label, and then we're good to go in the course. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, let me know, send me a message, and we'll